There is power behind every story we carry within. Every tragedy, no, yes, laugh, victory. And every testimony that is incubated within our souls have power. The power to transform, from tragedy to crown, from obstacle to opportunity. And all the moments in between make us wiser. Watch Candid Conversations with Charisa for impactful, unheard moments that will certainly spark your power and inner truth to shift, heal, and restore your life. It's time to get real, uncover, unlock, unpack, set free, and increase the dialogue to change a life. We all start somewhere and end in places of destiny. Get ready for the long-awaited Candid Conversations with Charisa.
We are back. Candid Conversations with Charisa, Season 5, the anniversary celebratory season, and I am excited. Your host, Charisa Monroe Wilborn, and I am so happy to bring to you a season where we have conversations on leadership and change, leadership and me, leadership having no age limit. It is all about leadership. Why? Because it's all about you. I'm all about making sure that you are taking care of you in order for you to take care of others. Why? Because our purpose is so much bigger than us. In this season, we're gonna have so many special guests, and I'm so excited to bring to you not only knowledge from myself and my experience, but knowledge from other great leaders so that we can help you change your life. Stay tuned for powerful episodes coming up right now. Welcome to another great episode of Candid Conversations with Charisa, and I'm here with another but regular special guest who is going to continue to talk about leadership in me, and the importance of before you have to me. Colin Morgan, welcome back again.
Thanks for having me.
Again.
I'm proud to be now called a regular guest.
I gotta be careful because my husband is soon gonna say, hold on now.
Yeah, where Colin come from so much.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, this is like, yeah.
But it's been a blast. It's been a blast being able to have conversations with you that are so deep, so real, so powerful that we have to do it again and again.
And so candid.
And that's exactly. And that's what happens when leadership, that's what happens when leaders clash.
Yes.
And we've been clashing over the years since we've known each other, supporting each other and growing with each other.
Yes.
And I've watched you do a lot in the community, for the people. And we've been talking about, I can hear your statement just resonating in my mind over and over and over again, that the currency of leadership is people.
People.
The currency of leadership is people. And we talked about leadership being all about relationships.
Right.
With self first, and then with everybody else.
Yes.
And then you mentioned on one episode the law of attraction.
Yes.
Now we know the law of attraction. You hear it as it pertains to relationships and dating someone and finding that special moment. But in leadership, I've never really heard that term, the law of attraction, and how it pertains to peopling.
Right.
So I wanted us to really go a little deeper into that today.
Yeah, we can do that. And of course, as we said, we understand that the law of attraction affects, how people, as leaders, we have to be aware of, conscious of, are we able to attract people so that we can lead them? And it's one thing to say, I'm a leader, and you're all standing up by yourself. You and your wife leading each other. It's another thing to be able to now work on your me, so then that you can actually have influence with others. And influence is the ability to affect and move someone's position, their posture, and their perspective. And in order to do that, in order to influence people, you have to be able to attract them. Now, and as you said, we're not talking about just boy-girl attraction.
Absolutely.
You're talking, it's so much depth to this, Am I able to be someone, and as I mentor and coach men, I say, you need to be the type of man that men would want to be like, and women would want their husband to be just like that. They want to be like him. I want to be like him. And women want their husband to be like him. Same thing with women. Do women want to be like you? Do they want to emulate you? So there's a law of attraction.
And we're not talking about, because as soon as you said that, I hear the naysayers saying, oh, then that means I'm comparing my husband to another man. No, we're not talking about that of comparison.
Right.
And we know that comparison kills.
Right.
So I don't even want to bring that word of comparison and competitiveness as we're talking about leadership.
Right.
But we're just talking about, you just see growth.
Right.
You see benefit. You see change. You see excellence. You see loyalty. You see someone who is attracting, and you're like, man, how can I do that, or how can I be like that? And you want to glean from that.
Right, and in one of the previous episodes, we discussed the fact that we need to follow first before we can lead. Follow first, lead later, and that's what we really mean. You know, not someone that we want to compare him with, but emulation. Meaning, I like that. Following, not just in the term of serving.
Teach me that.
Teach me that. How can I do that? And of course, you learn so much by these papers, and I'm gonna take you through something in this quick episode. Yes, right now we're going to talk about it. That's the teaching part.
Hold on.
No man, you. I think you. I know. But ladies and gentlemen, can I flip it on her? I want to flip it because even
I'm a social worker here. I don't want to be psychoanalyzed.
I know, but we all, even leaders, we need to go through an assessment and evaluate ourselves. And you said it, so we can self-govern effectively. And that's one of the things that we're going to do today, really quick. Right? And I'm going to take you through it, and it's called the M factor. We spoke in one of the episodes about the ability to look in a mirror longer than you normally would, to peer and glance into the mirror longer than you normally would. And I'm going to go through it with you. Normally we just glance through the mirror just to fix things, right? The nose, the ears, everything. But right now we want to look at it a little longer, to take a look at the dots on the spot, so we can improve on the good things and then fix some of the things that we're not so happy about. Again, when we're thinking of the law of attraction. As a leader, focus, because we're thinking about how can men, as a man, want to be like me? And as a woman, how do the women emulate me? Who are they emulating? What would they like and see? So, are you ready?
Yes. And it's interesting that you're talking about the law of attraction, and the first thing that comes to mind is a magnet.
Right.
And there are magnets that actually lose their magnetization.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think with this M factor, this is us making sure that we don't lose our magnetization.
I love that.
Or else people won't attract.
Right.
Like people, like when they attract to you.
Because it can wear off.
Exactly.
It can wear off.
Some magnets don't work anymore.
Wow, that's powerful.
But the fact you want to attract is you want people to.
Right. And that is the best way to. I like that.
M factor meat cat.
And I'm gonna steal some of that when I teach it again.
No
okay?
problem.
The magnetization, and it's very powerful. But let's look at this. And I want the audience here, the crowd, the live audience, and if you're watching, make sure you take out a piece of paper. We'll send you the link. It will become accessible to you. But we're gonna do an assessment called the M factor. The M stands for me, and I like to say it stands for a mirror also. All right, but we're going to go through it. Are you ready? All right, we're going to do it quickly. This is really a working document to ensure that the magnetism remains, right? So even last year, I had to redo my M factor, and we can get into that. We're going to make sure we go through it, give you a synopsis of it, right? So we can get. Everybody want to see Charisa do her M factor? I'm ready.
Go.
All right, ready. So listen to this. The M stands for me. This exercise allows you to take a look in the mirror longer than you normally would. Get more than a glimpse of your image, your voice, and become laser focused on your identity, your path, and your purpose. Spend some time, Charisa, responding to these M's. There's really no right or wrong answer. Each response should reflect the future you. So we're answering these questions, not about yesterday, this is how I am, or this is how I was. I'm talking about when you close your eyes and think of next week and next year. And whatever you like about your now, you can keep it. Understand?
How many M's are there?
There are, we call it the M series. There are about 15 M's. We're not going to go through all of them. I want to go through maybe 4 with you today.
Okay.
And then I'll just read a few of the others. We have M factor and M factor plus. And we cannot get into all of it now, but this really helps us. So here we go, right? Remember that as you develop and grow, these answers may change over time.
They should.
They have to change so that the magnetism stays strong. I like that. I'm really going to steal it. Okay, so
just
the first
sure you call my name.
I'll say Charisa. I'll say Charisa. The first,
every time, not just the first time.
Every time?
Yeah, every time you say it, you make sure you give credit.
Okay, I will try to remember that. But listen, the first M is my messenger. We're all sent here with a job to do. So God sent us with a message. We have a purpose, all right? So as a messenger, right, this is the first M. M stands for messenger. My messenger, which is my image. That's the first thing. What is it about this messenger, that's like we're talking about, that will create this magnetism? All right? And this has to do with, this is, who am I? How do I look?
Physically.
Oh, yes, this is very practical. All right? There's so much that you know, there's spiritual connotations and implications, and that's fine. But I like to really get into the practical side of leadership, because that's what they're seeing. Real. So who am I? How do I look? How do I sound? Very important. What do people see, hear, or feel when I show up? So what happens to a room when Charisa walks into a room? What, literally, you walked into this room, we came in here, I saw when you walked out, you should have seen when she walked out with the dress, and it was just like, Charisa entered the room, right? So tell us what happens to it. These are the things that you write in your messenger, okay? Here you're gonna talk about your physical appearance, you're gonna describe how you look or how you want to look every time you show up into a room. I see your brain working, right? Your attire.
Am I just doing this for myself though?
This is Charisa. This is not Charisa and Destry. This is Charisa, okay? Charisa the leader, the Charisa show, the Charisa experience. And this is what you're thinking of, focusing on your attire, your look, your walk. Do I walk with confidence? How do I walk into the room? Communication, how do I speak? Knowing when silence is good, knowing how to say it, all right? How am I with both verbal and nonverbal communication? Then there is your posture. We're still in messenger. Your posture, that's your demeanor, your vibe, your energy. What nonverbal cues do you want to give people? And of course, your reputation, consistency. What can people come to see and expect when I do enter the room? When they hear that you come in, what are they expecting? Very important. And you create this narrative. You can determine, this M factor is you making this plan, all right? And then almost finished messenger, there's your associations or alliances. How many of us believe or think that our friends and our associates and our alliances have nothing to do with our image? You're wrong. Believe me when I tell you, it's who you flock with.
I just did a whole episode on knowing the people around you.
You have to know them.
And how important it is to know the people around you in order for you to be in right alignment.
Amen. And listen to what it says here.
Exactly.
Who are my friends? Who am I associated with? Who do I go into business with? What entities or programs do I align myself with? Who are within my circles of influence? All right? I need to leverage who I am within that. Mm-hmm. So that's your associations. And then lastly, within your messenger, I'm just giving you tips to write about. There's your accountability. Very important. Who keeps me accountable? Both across, pair to pair. That's shoulders same size as yours, right? And whose shoulders in your life are bigger than yours? In other words, that's up accountability. You need that. And when people do the M factor, and ladies and gentlemen, Charisa is going to do her M factor digitally and send it, and we're going to look at it. Okay?
I am?
Yeah. Not now.
Okay.
Then the next one, and again, we're going to go through a few of the M's, and then we will trust that everybody will chime in later and get the whole M series. But then there's your message, which has to do, so a messenger has a message. Right? So this is your voice. Right? What am I saying? Know that you showed up and you practice how you walk in. You practice your demeanor. You're aware of who you're with, who you came into the room with, what happens to the room. What am I saying? Now that you're here.
I think sometimes, even before we get to this point, it's so important to work on the first part.
Oh, yes.
Because I come in contact, Colin, with a lot of current leaders, emerging leaders, persons who don't even think that they have a voice worth hearing.
Right.
They're walking around believing that nobody wants to hear what I have to say.
Right.
They walk around believing that my story is not worth sharing.
Right.
And so they're saying nothing.
Right.
They're saying nothing. They're doing nothing. And when you sit down and you work with them and you really work through what they're going through, and then you find out the root of the issue is, I don't think my story is worth it.
Right.
I don't think my life is worth it. So they don't even think they have a message.
Right. So even if they did, we would never hear it.
We would never hear it.
And that's what confidence or lack of confidence is.
So one of the things I'm encouraging people now, like part of my influence, is letting people recognize that you have a voice.
Yes.
No matter how big, no matter how small, no matter how big the pain, no matter how worthless you think it is. You'll be surprised how much your life experiences. There's somebody else's life who's waiting for you to be
say
their
what?
savior.
That's true. That's
And
true.
a lot of people don't think
They
they have
don't.
a
They're
voice.
not. They don't get there. They don't get to that place.
And then sometimes some people's voices are so big
Yeah.
that it's scaring them.
Yes.
Hey, I don't know how to share this. I don't know what. I don't know.
But that's why it's important to make your own plan, right? Because this M Factor is really a plan, and it's a plan for your purpose. But it's showing you the path. A lot of P's here, but it's also a prayer. Okay. So as I write, like I said, I'm writing about tomorrow too, and this is and I pray for my M Factor, and I say, Lord, I'm giving this to you. This is what I want. This is who I want to be. This is who I want and what I want in my life, right? So, and you're right. We like to say that your image and working on your image, this is the longest one, right? So we're going to touch on a few of the others and we'll go through quicker, but it's going to take you a little while to really fill out the image one, your messenger, because we believe that the first 7 seconds doesn't lie. It don't lie. You walk in, what happens in that first 7 seconds? And I want you to practice that.
First
Focus on
impression
that.
is the lasting
First
one.
impression. So the first 7 seconds don't lie. And it don't care.
That's good.
The first
That's
7
good.
seconds.
That's good. The first 7 seconds. The first 7 seconds it does not lie.
It don't lie, but it
And
don't
that is
care,
true.
Charissa. So I had a bad day. So me and my wife got into it, or my boss, or I got let go, or I'm just having a rough day. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. First 7 seconds don't care about that. I walk into this room. The first 7 seconds does not care whether or not X, Y, and Z. So you just have to be aware of that and be a big boy, be a big girl, and understand
Exactly.
that. You know, wipe your tears, and I can appreciate the pain, but wipe your tears.
Which is why when my husband and I, we get into risk all the time because we'll go somewhere. And I am a stickler for excellent, not perfect, excellent customer service.
Right.
Especially if it's something I'm paying for. So what you ain't never gonna do is do something in your first 7 seconds and then apologize to me for it.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
If your first 7 seconds
Yes.
shows me darkness, shows me discomfort, shows me I don't care, shows me that you don't care, then I'm done.
Yeah.
And then we have a talk later, I find out, my husband would say, they're probably having a bad day. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
Or, they've probably been here for the last 8 hours. That's not my problem.
It's
I
not.
just got here for the first second.
Right.
And I'm, as a social worker, one of the things we have to learn is whatever happens before those stairs, before that door, on the other side of that elevator, before you walk through it, you need to become a different person. And I say different in that you become a professional once you get to work.
Yes.
What's going on at home, what's going on personally, sometimes you need to take a back seat. You need to pull up your big boy and your big girl pants, and you need to smile for your clients.
Yes.
You need to smile for your patients. You need to be professional for your other team members. Because those first 7 seconds that you're struggling with and that you're just throwing away can be the 7 seconds that actually destroys the life of somebody else.
True,
Such as
true.
meeting you for the first 2.
That's great. That's great. And so, unless you start talking within the first 7 seconds, your image is all of that, right? So we have to make sure we focus on our image first. That's why I don't mind staying a little longer on this
messenger.
part. The messenger part is huge. It's very huge, and it's all about. And that is almost the hardest part because we've all had an image. Some of us haven't been intentional. I wasn't always intentional about my image. But it's very, 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 very important. And so the next one, like I said, is message or your voice. What are you all about? People can come to know and expect this and to hear this from you. So here we are, season 5, leadership, and a lot of leadership behind who you are and speaking on it and becoming an expert or someone who can share about this. This is a part of your message. So you would write leadership. What issues am I passionate about? Right? These are the triggers to help you out there. What issues am I prepared, if you're not there yet, prepared to become an expert in, even if you're not there yet. But you know that you're passionate about it. You're not necessarily prepared yet, but you're ready. 2 different things, right? Being ready is about the heart, and I feel it, and I'm passionate. Being prepared is the strategy and the plan behind it, all right? So what are you willing to now become prepared in? All right, these topics will line up with your life in general. For example, in one of the previous episodes, since I'm not a regular, in one of the previous episodes, I discussed having an issue, being insecure about being chubby, and I know I've lost a little bit of weight, but there's still this thing with me, and even when I do get a little slimmer, I will never have an episode or a theme. No one is going to invite me to talk about health and fitness. Why? It's just not my thing. And I never speak about it, only when I use Chubby as a platform.
Or they may invite you, but you know that that's not your message.
Right. It's
so
not,
you get to say,
right.
No.
It's not. So what I'm saying is, your message should be something that lines up with your life.
Yes. I remember every year in November, my dad would have the family get together, he, my mom, my brother, and myself. And we would sit at the table, and he would put like a stack of file folders in front of us. And he'll say, these are my invitations for next year. We have to go through them together.
Wow.
Yes, so we would all take a folder and we would go through the invitation letter. So he would have gotten the letter through the office. They were printed out, so we were reading the letter. And of course the letters has who is the pastor or who is the host, where is it going, what is the event about, when is the date, and so forth. So the four of us know what we're looking for. And one of the things we're looking for is that the date align with his schedule, but also does what they want him to speak about align with what he talks about,
voice.
what his platform.
Wow.
And there would be invitations. The host would be perfect. The location would be perfect. The date would be perfect for his calendar. But the topic, the heading, the theme, and the focus they want him to focus on, totally something he doesn't.
And what I love about that is that not only does he understand it, but his family understands,
But
where
also
he is.
in the same letter, the money is good. Oh, the pay is amazing.
Everything is
and they
fine.
really want him, so they double it.
Yeah.
But the theme, the focus, and the topic they want him to talk about is not what he talks about.
Wow.
And literally, he would write decline on that file.
Wow.
And that goes in the decline file.
That's powerful.
And I'm like, man,
That is
Daddy,
powerful.
that's double. You realize that's double, right? Come on, Daddy, this is one time.
This is double.
But he can say no, and he can be perfectly fine with that no. He's one of those persons, and I've learned so much from him. What you ain't gonna do is buy my soul. I'm never gonna sell my soul out, but no amount of money. And
That's good.
there are so many leaders and individuals that sell their soul for the perfect price for
And
them.
Charisa, I love that, because that's what we're talking about. What your voice should really be your soul coming out, right?
Exactly.
And the sounds that come out of you should be that thing. And I love the fact that he stuck to it, and that's what I'm going to do. I stick to it, not only because it is within my wheelhouse, and that would be it. The church people call it the anointing to speak on that topic. And that's basically what we're talking about. Can we do two more?
We can.
All right. So we did messenger, right? That's
did message.
image. Message is your voice, which now I'm adding to it as messenger. I'm stealing the whole magnetism thing, and then your soul's coming out of your mouth, your voice. All right.
Now also, I also want to say too, because I don't want people to think that their voice or their message has to be that of sound from your voice box.
Right.
Your message can be, you enjoy painting, and you can paint the greatest picture that could be another life-changing photo or picture for somebody else. Your message can be, you are the best golfer, like Tiger Woods, or you are one of the best, and I'm gonna say one of the best basketball players, and then I give a name, and then someone knows he isn't one of the best basketball players, like LeBron James or Michael, like that's their voice. Or you can just be the greatest author and have 70 books, and that's your voice.
And that comes out of your soul. Yeah.
Or you just enjoy writing, and that's your voice. Whatever your gift and talent, that is your voice. So for you to not pick up that paintbrush and paint the greatest picture because you believe that what you have to paint no one is going to understand, that's your responsibility, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's your voice.
Powerful.
So it doesn't have to always be someone like myself
Doesn't have to be
Colin
audible.
who enjoys just
Right.
talking and speaking, and that's me, that's my talent, I enjoy that. Unfortunately, my voice can never be that of a painter. My voice can never be that of a basketball player, and I'm okay with that. But that's theirs.
Right. And you have to find yours. Very important. That's what looking in the mirror does. Third, my majors. MAJORS. What are your majors? You go to college, you major in certain things. What are your majors? Or the trigger word for that is pillars. These are this is a table, has 4 legs. I want you to find 4 things. You can have 5 and 6 eventually, but I need you to make sure you have at least 4 legs, 4 pillars to stand on, 4 load-bearing walls in a building. that keeps up that building. And this is what you choose.
Give me an example.
Let me give you an example. What are the main load-bearing pillars in my life? Which is identify the goals, relationships, or areas of interest that requires focus. So how long have you been married?
2 years.
My wife and I were arguing about that. We were saying, I said it was within 2 years. She said, so how long?
What did she say?
She said it was right after the pandemic, because I remember we couldn't go because it was pushed back. Remind me, she said within 2 years. I said 2 years.
2 years.
She said 2? Okay.
So you both are right.
We both are right.
Both are right.
Okay. So when your M factor would have been adjusted, because
Absolutely.
now your marriage
Absolutely.
is a load-bearing wall. It's
Yes.
a load-bearing, not load-carrying. Load-bearing means these are the legs that we stand on.
So it's a pillar.
Right. So it's a pillar in your
like
life.
that.
For me, a pillar in my life is number one, my marriage. My 4 are number 2, it's my legacy. That's just mine. That's one of mine. All right. Number 3, my influence, which is the people I coach, teach, pastor. That I call them my influence. Meaning it's very important. That's very, very important to me. And then my 4th one is the Good Life Network that we're building. So those are my 4. So your 4, you can think, and just for right now, since that should be a little easier. What are your 4 right off the cuff? What do you think?
Right off the cuff. Marriage is one, absolutely. Growing my business is another. Charisa Monroe, the LLC. My legacy, current and future.
Yes.
And the 4th would be, I have to say, my influence. My influence.
Yeah.
And the people that listen to my voice
Yeah.
and my message.
Right, because you know what happens when you have these pillars, and it's not just so you can write them down. And I need to know that, as I and I've used this actually, this M factor, as almost a cheat sheet to help me to pastor, mentor, coach, and teach. Because people call, I'm going to meet with them. I just go back into their file and I'm looking. Okay, let me look at Charisa. Okay, and I remember. And then if Charisa comes, or Mary comes, or Johnny comes, and he's bringing up a topic that has nothing to do with his pillars, this is not what's on here. This is not one of your pillars. So why are we doing that? And your marriage isn't that great. If it has to be strong. No, when all 4 legs are strong and sturdy, then we can look at adding a 5th. Then we can look at, you've now mastered this, you've now mastered that. For example, I was working at a church, in a cave. In a church.
In a box, sorry.
In a box, sorry. I left last year to do Good Life full time, and that was one of my pillars. Working at this church that I love so much and helped start 19 years ago. And now I moved on to do Good Life full time, and so it shifted. So I had to redo my M's. Your M factor assessment is never complete. It's a working document that you use to make adjustments and shifts. And I use it as a leader. Leaders, I use this to actually help me. It's a cheat sheet. It has helped me so much to be able to say the things that is hard for us to say. To people, sheep, students, mentees. But why would you do this? Why would you do that? It's not a part of your M factor.
And I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you are here. You guys hear me talk about it in a previous episode, the importance of leaders. We are shifting all the time. We are changing all the time. We have to be in constant flexibility and constant adjusting. Like as a leader, resilience is your greatest quality. And one of the things about being resilient and being able to adjust and being able to, like a palm tree, no matter how much that wind goes, that palm tree is going to bend, but it's always going to come back up. And the interesting thing about that is, in order to increase and develop your resilient muscle, you have to go through adversity.
Yes.
You have to go through adversity.
Yes, you do.
I wish that was not the case.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to half die and lose my mind in order to grow.
Yeah. That's true.
Resilient muscle.
Yeah.
But the resilient muscle only grows and gets stronger through adversity.
Yeah.
So it's almost as though my dad got to a point where he welcomed adversity. And I always ask him, like, man, how's dad how's he able to, just be able to go through changes and some of those be changes that just happened, caused by people, caused by life experiences. And then he would just be perfectly fine. And I think it took me going through my own adversities now to recognize how.
Right.
Because he could have told me how, but it wouldn't have mattered because that's not me.
Right.
But now I'm in a place where, like, I remember when people asked me, shortly after my parents passed, how are you able to still stand on stage or get up on a stage just months later? I mean, look beautiful and smile and talk to people and talk about them without crying. And that took work.
Right.
That took art, that took science, that took a lot of pulling up my big girl pants and saying, yeah, the hurt and the pain is good. I mean, the hurt and the pain is there, and it's bad and it's torturous, and I would love to just go under a rock and not be seen. Please don't bother me. But my pillar is being influenced.
Yes.
There are people watching.
Yes.
There are people waiting.
Yeah.
Like even my aunt sitting here, she herself was going through pain, losing her sister, losing her brother-in-law, losing her husband. She herself was going through, but there were so many other people watching her and wanting to get their strength and their relief and their healing from her.
Yeah.
But yet she's hurting. So when you know what your message is, when you know what your majors are, you endure the pain.
Yeah. But
Keep it in mind. It's all about people.
No, it definitely is. It's all about people.
It's all about people.
And like I said, when God told me years ago that none of my relationships are for me, it just puts it in a whole nother perspective. And another M that I wasn't going to talk about because you just said that. Another M is your market, which is your target, which is a demographic or the people you are here for. And when I say that, I mean this is the reason why I do it. And now your market, or the target demographic, listen to this. It is which demographic do I focus on? Who am I trying to reach? This is your audience. Know your audience. Know the people who need you, right? My image, the way I speak, my platform, this would all be affected by who I'm here for, my target market. Right. And that is powerful. So make sure you know who they are and identify them who you are. These are just 4 of them, Charisa, and there's so much more. And you and I off air, we will go through the rest of them. But it's interesting to have this assessment and to be able to personally use it, but also as a leader, be able to use it with others.
Good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be painful. Now it's going to start psychoanalyzing me and factoring me, but no, this assessment is actually. Like, it's really making me think and gonna make me want to write things down, because once you write it down, it becomes real. Right. Like everything up here is one thing, it's just a thought. But once we write it down, then it's like, man, like this is it. Yes. And I get to look at it over and over and over again. And you said there are 15 of these?
There are 15. There are 15. This is just 4. Let me just read some of them to you. There's my medium, which is my platform. There's my muscles, which are your gifts. What are your top 3 gifts? The 3 things that you're best at. And we can discuss. We've discussed that in private before.
I actually don't want you to give all.
Don't give them. Don't give them.
Because I want to now. We've given these.
Okay.
I want to encourage them because I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I'm going to go and allow Colin to psychoanalyze me, and take me and M-factor me through this assessment. And we're going to go through all 15. And I would like for you to join me. I would like for all of you to join me. There's a link right here at the bottom where you can click and where you can go to the website, and we will do this M-factor assessment together, because we want to make sure that if we are leading, we have all the elements of a complete leader in order, starting with the me, starting with you, starting with yourself, starting with your messenger, your image, your sound, your posture, your reputation, your alliances. Like, that is so good. And I'm so looking forward to going through this. And I would like for you to join me with Colin, The Good Life, the M-Factor team. He's, like I said, there's going to be a link right here for us to do this M-Factor assessment together. So that just tomorrow, just if you decide to do it today or tomorrow, the next day, next year, you're going to be a much better leader than you were today. Colin, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Again, let them know one more time where they can get more of what you have here.
You can get more. Go to our website, iamgoodlife.com. Same handle for Instagram, same handle for Facebook. I am Colin Anthony Morgan on Instagram. And you can just DM us and you can get all the information. Absolutely. Send us a message through the website if that's what you need to do. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm doing their M-Factor with them, but they're really the ones that are responsible for that and holding their own mirror.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Colin.
Yes, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Go and get your M-Factor assessment now. If you are anything like me right now, you're probably sitting saying, man, how do I get there? How do I become this great leader that Charisa and COLIN and all of the guests on this show is talking about? And all we've been doing is talking to you about our life experiences. We've been talking to you about the journey. We've been talking to you about the growth that we've been going through. And we've been just giving you a spoonful of how you can change your life from just being a good leader to being an extraordinary leader. If you are ready to be fed with a bigger spoon, if you're ready to go deeper and dive deeper into how can I be an extraordinary leader, then I want to take that journey with you, and I would love for you to take that journey with me. And I am developing a program just for you starting October so that you can actually dive deeper, so that you can get the how-tos, the action steps on how can I be an extraordinary leader while being an imperfect individual. And the name of the program is The Total Imperfect Leader, created just for you. Just a few years ago, I was tired of feeling burnt out. I was tired of not having anyone or being afraid to ask for help. I was so stressed out from poor leadership ruining my life until I realized I was one decision away from just being a regular good leader to being an extraordinary leader. And I started that journey a few years ago, and now I'm standing here with you, becoming and still operating as an extraordinary leader. And I want you to be an extraordinary leader just like me. I'm going to take you on a short but powerful journey for 7 weeks, 7 modules, just for $177 for a value that's over $2,000. This perfect investment is just for you because I tried to figure out how can I make it so available and accessible to people to say, yes, I would like to be an extraordinary leader and not just settle for a regular good leader. We have so many good leaders around, but the world needs extraordinary leaders who are ready to develop themselves, who are ready to impact, who are ready to influence and have a blast while doing it. I don't want you to just be working. I don't want you to just be putting in the hours and toiling and actually tired at the end of the day that you can't enjoy your life. Because guess what? Your girl, she's enjoying her life. And I want to show you how you get to find the perfect pace to make a change, to be influential and impactful and still enjoy your life. Visit the website at charisamonroe.com/leader. That's www.charisamonroe.com/leader for more information and to sign up before registration closes. Join this journey with me and let's walk down that road of becoming who? Extraordinary leaders. You have just watched another great, powerful, life-changing episode of Candid Conversations with Charisa. And I hope that you are ready to take the necessary actions to make your life so much better and so much different starting today. Don't wait to take the action that's needed to make yourself a much greater leader than you are right now. For those that are following you, for those that you are leading, they are so waiting for you to be an extraordinary individual. Stay tuned and come back next week for another great and powerful episode with your host, Charisa Monroe-Wilborn. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment. I love reading your comments. I love hearing from you. I love when you join the conversation. See you soon.